Welcome to Shonky Lab. I'm Elton McManus, and this week I am joined with Andy Poulastides.
Hello.
And Darren Barnard.
Hello.
And we are here to talk about cosplay. Now, I've got two very famous cosplay players with me today. I am famously not a cosplay person whatsoever. I don't do dressing up, guys.
That's not what Amanda said.
I don't dress up.
Yeah, we've seen the pictures, mate.
Seen the pictures. I actually was hiding in the wardrobe at the time. It was quite embarrassing. I went in there looking for something, and they came in, got amorous. I'm hiding in the cupboard there, and it's like, get me out.
Wait, you were in the wardrobe too? But so was I. Where else were you?
Oh, I thought that was just a broom handle digging me in the back.
Well, that explains a lot then. Okay,
it certainly does. Okay, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, anyway.
Thought there was a man with a baguette in there.
I just thought you had a lot of very heavy fur coats in there, but there you go.
No, that's just my big naked hairy chest. But there you go. Anyway,
yes. So
right.
Cosplay. So you guys like doing cosplay? Am I right?
We
Yes.
certainly do.
Okay, so, how the hell did you get into it? Or how the hell did you find it? Or, at what point did you find it?
Are you asking at what point did I stop being a well-balanced, reasonable member of society and start dressing up? No, that's a reasonable question, I suppose. Well, for me, it was when I decided to make a film, which, is definitely something no sane person in their right mind should bloody well try. But because I did a zombie film, at a science fiction convention, and had a lot of people dressing up, they kind of taught me into it. So I'm blaming all of them.
Oh, okay. What sort of age was that then?
It was only a few years ago.
I was going to say, what day is it now?
I'm not counting down the days, hours, minutes, or anything like that. No, I mean, what was it? 2012. So that was 3 years ago. So I was 30. Hey.
Oh, okay.
That's when you popped your cosplay cherry.
It was when it was roughly taken from behind.
Yes.
And Darren, when did you discover it?
When did I discover it?
Yeah.
I suppose it was when I first started doing sci-fi conventions, which was way back in the 90s. My cosplays were very subtle cosplays. The first cosplay I ever did was a Psychop from Babylon 5, and basically all they are is a Mandarin-style black suit, completely all in black, leather gloves, and like a metal badge. And you just take the badge off, and you're ready to go out to the local nightclub. That's it. You can just change immediately just by removing that badge.
Oh, that's nice and easy. That's
Exactly,
kind
you
of
see.
cheating, though. Isn't that like going to a fancy dress party dressed as James Bond?
Well, you'd think that, but to tell the truth, even when I turned up at one of the conventions, even without putting the badge on, everybody knew who I was. It was actually quite a nice little entrance as well. They see me turn up. Psychops are the bad guys in Babylon 5, or one of the sets of bad guys. I walked up and they just parted like the Red Sea and let me walk straight through the middle of them. It was great. Fantastic stuff.
And I would like to just dispel this notion that it's easy to wear a tuxedo and look like James Bond. It is hard to look this damn good in a tuxedo.
as we all know as well.
I've never had that trouble, Andy, ever.
Well, yeah, I know, but there are mere mortals listening to us, so just trying to let them know you can't put on a tuxedo and instantly be Bond. You need a walk for PPK and a martini.
You certainly do.
And a very fast car sat outside.
Yes, that helps.
With the defab inside it as well.
Yeah. So, where the question of age is concerned, I was in my 20s when I discovered it. So, that's over 20 years ago.
Wow. Early 90s.
Yep.
I was kind of still at school.
No, actually, mid-90s. It was 1996, 95.
Oh, okay.
About then.
I was just finding the pub then.
I was still at school.
Sorry,
I'll shut up now.
I found the pub already.
I'm sure you had.
Yes. Cosplaying in pubs as well. There you go.
So
Marvellous.
what is it about cosplay that has this draw to it then, that you guys totally love?
Do you want to go first, Andy?
Well, for me, and I won't go into all of it, but it was it was a way to just kind of de-stress after doing the film by having a project I could work on. And yes, there's a story there for another time. But it was so. I mean, I ride a motorcycle most of the time. It's my only real way of getting around. So I'm kind of used to wearing like motorcycle gear. And the first costume I did was the Dread one, the 2012 costume, which is fundamentally it's just a set of motorcycle levers with an armored vest on it and a lid. So it was no big deal for me to really get used to transitioning over to that sort of thing. So it was just a fun project, putting the whole thing together, you know, collecting all the bits, trying to make it as screen accurate as I could do. There's a really good community out there of people who have access to a lot of the original files and materials, and they'll help you put the costume together. You kind of connect to the film in a way as well, because if you've got, I mean, my Dread lid is cast from the same molds that the film lids were cast from, and the same with the shoulder pad eagles.
So how did you do that?
How did I do that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, you know, there's the communities are out there online. When a film basically finishes, unless they know 100% it's going to be a sequel, they almost always sell off all of the props. And there's websites called, I think Prop Store's one of the big ones, Movie Props, and they basically just auction off all of the film's assets. So people will buy these, and then they will recast them and sell them on. So yeah, my lid is first generation mold from the screen used lids, and same with my lawgiver as well. I think that has some bits which were cast from the film as well. And it was just a fun. We spoke earlier about, you know, I used to make models and stuff like that. It was just another way to build a model and, you know, put something together. So I put it all together. And once I'd done that, I was like, well, spent all this time doing that, I may as well go out and wear it now. Huzzah!
Was that the plan in the very beginning, though? Or was it just a case of, oh, I want a Dread costume, and then sit in my front room drinking tea, watching EastEnders in my Dread costume?
It was largely, I was just making the Dread costume to, not so much drink the tea, but, you know, I thought I'd get a mannequin sort of thing and just kind of have it standing in the room, because I thought it'd be a cool, like, costume to have there sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, the community is really supportive and everything, and they're like saying, yeah, you should come out and, you know, come down to a con and all that sort of thing. So I met up with a couple of friends sort of things. We went down to one of the cons and just had a huge amount of fun. You know, by my nature, I'm not a very outgoing sort of person sort of thing. I don't particularly like big groups and stuff like that. I'm not the sort of person who's going to run up and be the centre of attention. But when you're in a costume and you're kind of playing a character, people are running up to you wanting the pictures taken, and you can kind of just relax and just enjoy it. So that was a load of fun. So I've just been reading Lee's posts about the Death Star. I've still got a Kosh costume for you at some point, incidentally, Mr. Metcalf.
What about yourself, Darren?
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
I think it's the ego thing, actually. If you get a really good one, you get one that people recognise, then they want to have the pictures taken with you. So you become a little bit, you know, it's like being a little bit like a celebrity, you know? And
Yeah,
me
I
being
imagine
the yeah, it is. And me being the flamboyant little shit that I am, I love that kind of attention. So, you know, there you go.
You do surprise me.
Do I? I know I'm such a sort of timid, humble sort of person, really, most of the time. But no, I just genuinely enjoy it. If you're in a group of like-minded individuals, you don't feel conscious of the fact. It's, you know, that everybody looks, your costume's really cool, and you compliment other people on theirs as well, and you can pick up tips from them. You know, as Andy said, like from other groups to get your costume even better. You know, it's that sense of accomplishment as well when you make something like that. If you actually got a hand in creating it rather than buying it all in, if you've actually done some of it yourself and it turns out particularly well, I mean, there's that, you know, there's that sense of achievement, you know, so you've added something to that costume yourself, which is something I'm looking into now to try and I don't know, you know, try and get something going like that, because normally I buy all my stuff in, but I'd like to try and maybe make some stuff just for myself, you know?
I enjoy, I mean, for me, the best part of it is putting the thing together, kind of collecting the parts, you know, and you get them all together, and then when you finally get the costume complete and the thing's finished, it's like when I was doing my Ghostbuster costume. I got the proton pack done, and I got the basic jumpsuit, which was great. but it wasn't until I got all the belt rigging, so a belt gizmo, the trap, PKE meter, and all those bits that it really kind of came together, and it was really awesome.
It's like making a really nice cake, when all those ingredients come together and it just turns out so brilliant that it's like, yes, this is the reason I did it. Even though you went through all that pain to get those little bits, in the end, it's always worth it. Hello?
Sorry, no, it's just Lee's asking for hair product removal tips, and I'm trying to remember the name of that one off of Amazon with those hilarious reviews, but I cannot be asked to look it up. But yeah, it's out there, Lee. Like I said, just Amazon hair removal. It'll come straight up.
So,
just advice to Lee there. I mean, just watch those bikinis, because I know they can ride, as you say there. Chafing is, it's almost a given. So maybe some lubrication down there on the G-stringy bit that goes up your ass.
In fact, I think I should point out as well, if he's going as Pamela Anderson from Baywatch, she didn't tend to wear a bikini. It was more of a one-piece sort of suit. So
yeah.
They don't frown on the on accuracy too much, but you want to be more or less in the right ballpark.
Do we all have a vision of Lee running down a beach in a one-piece?
No, I haven't.
In slow motion.
Go away. Oh no, it's breaking into my mind. I can see him in the swimsuit. Why, Elton? Why would you do this to me?
In slow motion.
In slow motion with all these bits jiggling. It's like it's like some kind of blancmange earthquake monitor. It's just, look at it. It's just going off. Ripples. It's like a tsunami of unpleasantness just riding its way towards you.
Where's that damn albatross, damn it?
He's smiling at me while he does it as well. That's the creepy thing.
Oh dear. So, you two seem to be at both ends of the spectrum, because Darren, you like the I want to be a centre of attention sort of thing.
Oh yeah, you could say that. I mean, it's a new facet of my personality that I don't think anybody's ever, most people don't know about me, that I like being the centre of attention.
Yeah, and
I'll tell you a little anecdote about it that was quite entertaining. It was the first time I went to a con with Darren when I just completed my Dread costume.
Yes.
And went to MCM. And we were walking around, and this was like the first time taking it out, as it were, euphemism. And all of a sudden, everyone wants to come over and have a picture taken with a Drudge. But because Darren, you weren't wearing a costume, were you? You were just kind of.
I was just, mate. I feel like a reporter.
He was my entourage, basically. He was. Everyone's going, "Oh, will you take our picture?" and all this, and
I even went, "Would you like me to hold the camera for you?" Oh, would you?
Yeah. It was at that point I realised Darren died a little inside and swore that that day he would make his own Judge costume.
That's right. Yes, one day I will get there. One day.
So does all this dressing up come from something earlier on in life? Like, did you enjoy dressing up as like cowboys or space marines or anything like that when you was a lot younger?
Superheroes.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. It's comic books, that sort of thing. Just wanting to be that superhero, wanting to be Batman or Superman or whatever. So it's that kind of thing, stemming from that, thinking, look at those outfits, they look really cool, I want one of them. And I think we all were like that when we were little, whether it be, wanting to dress up as a football player or, as a superhero or a TV character.
Yeah, I suppose like a football player would be a modern day equivalent, really, wouldn't it?
Well, when you think about it, right, okay, it's not the football players so much, but the fans, you could actually class them, I suppose, as cosplayers.
But
they put the football shirts on.
Have you ever heard of Full Kit Wanker?
I've never heard of it, but I instantly know exactly what you mean.
Okay, right. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know this, it's a grown man, normally around about 40 years old, with a bit of a beer belly, and puts the full kit on, and then goes to a football match wearing the full kit of his team. And it has also been noted in certain press outlets that some idiots, or, maybe they're not idiots, they just like dressing up, but some of them wear the captain's armband as well.
The captain's armband?
And...
No, sorry, go on. I've got a bit of a thing where that sort of... It's that acceptable level of geekism in society today where it's okay to dress up in your football team colours. Dress up like a fucking football player.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, those kind of people point and laugh at people like me and Andy who go to sci-fi conventions will dress up as maybe Judge Dredd or whatever. And it's like, you're laughing at yourself because this is what you do, but in a football outfit.
I don't know if that's the case anymore, to be honest. I think geeks have now inherited the earth.
Well, actually, you may be right thinking about today's TV and film and that.
But, like, again, going to MCM and stuff like that, if you go on the DLR of a tube, pretty much from central London out, the tube's just full of people in costumes and everything like this, and no one bats an eyelid half the time. And there was that time we went to the Prince Charles for Ghostbusters, and I walked there in my kit and all that.
Yeah.
It took me about 45 minutes to walk from the Prince Charles Cinema to the tube station, which is in reality maybe a 2-minute walk, because everyone was stopping me wanting a picture taken. It was insane. Cool. It was just absolutely insane. And yeah, I know what you're saying, Darren. There was certainly that sort of perception, and you read about these cases, but I think today it's going to be the full kit wanker sort of thing, which more people are going to be looking at with disdain than the guy dressed up as a cartoon character or something like that.
Well, I think you're right there, because the full kit wanker is a person who would be mocking someone dressed as Judge Dredd or dressed as something else from Star Wars or Star Trek. And yet he will go home, put his full kit on, and look himself in the mirror and go, "Yeah, do you know what? I could be a footballer.
Yeah,
I look really good.
I am that player that I really love."
Yeah.
Because I look like Alan Shearer with me beer belly and my fucking knobbly knees. Look at it. Look. Yeah.
See, I'm someone who doesn't like dressing up at all. The closest I've ever got to it, I went to a fancy dress party at my sister-in-law's house, and it was a 60s thing. And I went down to the local charity shop and bought a 60s waistcoat. And
that was it.
And that was it. That is as far as I went. I just can't do it.
That's fine. It does depend. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, really. If you're comfortable with it, then fine. But I think it's to do with your personality as well. It's are you the kind? It's like with me, I'm quite a loud person. I'm not afraid to go up and say hello to people, and I can be quite a show off. So it's doing that sort of thing. It's not surprising that I can get on with that. It's like, hey, look at me, and I'm big. Look, I'm fantastic, me.
Yeah. So, Andy.
Yellow.
What are your favourite costumes out there at the moment? What's one of your favourite ones that you've seen someone else wear?
But someone else's what? So, I can tell you the next one that I'm likely. Well, it's not necessarily the next one, but next on the docket sometime soon is Alien Colonial Marine. I want to do the Colonial Marine with the M56 smart gun, so the big heavy duty steady arm rifle that Ramirez has, and Drake. That's probably next on the list. I mean, I would love to do a good Space Marine costume, but my definition of a good Space Marine costume and what I've seen out there, in Lord of the Rings and Sauron, and how his armor is all that really intricately carved detail and everything like that.
Yeah,
I'd want my Space Marine costume to be like that level of detail, like properly artifaced.
So you want to do a proper Chaos Marine? No,
I want to do a Primarch. Not
right,
because if you read the books and descriptions, they describe the armor as being this intricately, beautiful detailed stuff, sort of thing. With all this carvings in it, which you just don't get a sense of most of the time. So I want to do that kind of real fancy. I mean, that's kind of like top end. If I had infinite resources, infinite time, infinite money. Costume.
Those are the Space Marines who have their armor made in Thailand in a sweatshop, aren't they? The Primarchs.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Primani.
Sort of very cheap. Yes.
The Primani Space Marines. But in all honesty, I mean, and again, the costumes I have at the minute. So I have my Judge costume, and I have my Ghostbuster costume. And the reason I have those is they were the ones I wanted. It was a case of because they didn't cost a insignificant amount of money and time to put together. So if you're going to commit to something like that, it's got to be something that's going to hold your attention for the duration. So my Ghostbuster is probably my favourite one at the moment, primarily because of the Proton Pack, which if I just lean back, let's see if I can make the happy sound. There we go. Hopefully you can hear that.
Yeah.
And it lights up.
Oh, it's so cool. It's a thing of beauty and a joy to behold.
See, have you got a trap that goes with it as well?
I do. I have a trap. And I have a PKE meter.
Yeah, I've seen the PK meter.
I've got the trap. I've just finished building the basic body for it. I'm trying to work out a way to make the thing smoke, because I really like the idea of walking through a convention hall holding out at arm's length with smoke pouring out of the thing.
Get it done by Nine Worlds. We can do that through the hotel then.
The amount. So Nine Worlds is a convention, actually takes place in a hotel, and I will be taking my Ghostbuster costume. I'm going to stand in the corridor and wait for someone to walk around the corner, and then I'm going to pull out the walkie-talkie and just go, "I can see it, Ray. It's looking right at me." And I'm just going to be walking around with a PKE meter and just like walk up to random people and just kind of poke them and just walk on and stuff like that. I want to stand by the elevator sort of thing, when it opens sort of thing, and say, "Going up," just to see if people will get it. And unfortunately, Martin Dry Ice won't work because it has to be something you can turn on and off.
Knowing you're like, it will be all the people, the people you meet there will be all the guests that aren't actually going to Nine Worlds. And
but that's even better.
Take a flight somewhere. Well, no, they just think, what? Who's this bloke with this great big fridge on his back? What's going on there then? Because that's how much it weighs. It does weigh as much as a small fridge. I've had the pleasure of wearing that Proton pack, and, you know, as much as I felt extremely right on with it on, it did weigh quite a bit.
But it is a metric ton, yes.
Isn't that part of the costume, though? Because if it looks light, then it just looks terrible.
I think for me it is, just because... and again, I've seen people who've got really light packs on there and they can walk around all day long and it's fine. This one's heavy, but when you take this off, you look like in the films when they take it off, it's like the thing weighs a ton. And because, you know, it's got all the lights and sound and all the electronics in there sort of thing, it has a deep reverberating sound to it, which is just really cool. And yeah, I mean, I think people will expect these things to be heavy, so that kind of adds to it to me. This is all my way of saying that I kind of ballsed it up and probably should have made it a lot lighter, but damn it, I'm owning my mistake.
Nice. So what sort of conventions do you go to? You know, where are they, and, you know, how can people find them and stuff like that?
Well, so there's a few big ones throughout the year. MCM and LFCC are like the two biggest ones in London.
MCM gets the most sort of public advertising, though. I've seen the MCM one advertised on the Underground, also on the side of buses. We're talking about going through central London. You know, they go past where I work and they've got the big MCM banner plastered right across them. So yeah, MCM, I would say, even though LFCC is very big, I think MCM gets the most publicity. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the two big ones in the UK. I mean, obviously in the US, the big ones are San Diego Comic Con and Dragon Con. But as well as those ones, you have a lot of smaller cons throughout the year. And then you have themed cons. So one of the ones I just went to last month was Judge Dredd Con, called Lawgiver Mark II. And that was primarily for fans of Judge Dredd, 2000 AD, those sort of characters and everything like that. And that was a lot of fun. It was a much smaller event, but, you know, everyone is there talking about the same thing. You know, there's a lot of panels where people are talking about, a few of the artists were there, some of the original props were on show and everything like that. And that was just a much smaller event, but just as much fun, but for different reasons.
So that would just be solely Judge Dredd affiliated stuff. You couldn't have, like, the Powder Puff Girls rock up.
You could have. I mean, we had someone rocked up as Martial Law, who's a different character, but kind of in the same sort of vein. Someone rocked up as a Ghostbuster, just because, you know. And they're still welcomed, but, you know, it is primarily there for Judge Dredd. So no one's going to turn you away for turning up like that, but you're not going to get a lot out of it if you don't know anything about Judge Dredd and you come dressed as, you know, a Ghostbuster. You're just not going to get as much out of it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fair enough. Did we ask Darren what his favourite costume was that he's ever seen?
We have not.
No, Darren.
What my favourite costume I've ever seen?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been quite a few. It depends on how much work has been done on them. But then again, there are some very simple ones that I've also liked as well. I was in Bristol was it a couple of years ago for Rob Spry's birthday, actually, and he had a Star Wars themed evening going on. So we all turned up in like costumes. I went as a proper full-on sand trooper. So I had the full gear on that I hired from this guy. And this one bloke turned up to his birthday party dressed in nothing but cardboard boxes, painted like a stormtrooper. He looks more awesome than I did, and it was just boxes. It was like a bloody Minecraft stormtrooper. That's what it looked like.
That's awesome.
So it's like, that's a really good idea. That's a lot of fun, you know. He's put a bit of thought into that one, you know, and it's not overly expensive, but it's still really good.
Well, there's something to be said about, okay, going into specific details on. Me and Andy were talking before we went on air about how anal certain people can be about their costumes.
Yeah.
And for someone to rock up in boxes, it just says, look, I'm here dressed up like this. I want to join you guys, but in a different kind of way. And surely that should be appreciated just as much as the £500.
By and large, it will be. There was a small cadre of, let's just call them arseholes, because fundamentally that's what they are, who feel very entitled that they are the only ones allowed to do the dress up and sit in judgment of everyone who's not as good.
I think I know which people you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not going to out any particular numbered groups who walk around in white plastic or anything like that. But let's just say, so as a story, we were at a con in March, LSCC, London Super Comic Con, and I met this guy there called Housen, a lovely bloke, his first ever convention, and he had a stormtrooper armor, and I looked at it, and it was a stormtrooper. You know, it had helmet. You know, I instantly knew it was a stormtrooper, and everyone who looked at it knew it was a stormtrooper. But apparently, because it wasn't bought from an approved seller, and because this was wrong and this was wrong, and you know, there was little details on it that weren't quite right. He was getting shit from some other people who were there in stormtroopers and stuff like this, and he was quite dejected about the entire experience. And unfortunately, there are these little. They sound a lot like full kit wankers. In there who like they go to full hog onto their costumes and everything like that, and then unless you meet their very high standards, you're not good enough. I mean, personally speaking, people who've seen my costumes, Darren can attest to this, is I always go to full retard with my costumes.
I think we've both got that kind of attitude, haven't we? It's like go big or go home.
It is. I mean, with my Dread costume and with my Proton Pack, you know, it's like it's so detailed, but unless you really know what you're looking for, you're not going to be able to tell what's wrong. But equally so, I refuse to join any costume group or any association which has what's called clearance, where people will sit in judgment of you and say if you're good enough or not. And the simple reason is, as far as I'm concerned, there are two people on this planet allowed to tell me if my costume's good enough or not. One is me, and the other is the director of a film I'm aping.
Yeah.
And other than that, you can fuck off.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I still hang out with these guys, and if they're having fun, that's great. But, you know, I just don't think anyone has the right to tell you you're not doing it well enough, sort of thing. When you're a grown man or grown woman playing dress up and all this, and you start taking it too seriously, it's time to just go home, because you are failing.
I think it says something about the person throwing that around, that maybe they're a little bit on the sad side. You know, I know what I'm saying, it's a bloke who dresses up in, like, you know, dressed up in superhero stuff before and whatever, but taking that too seriously, it's like, is there nothing else in your life that you're good at? Is this it for you? You know, so you take it out on everyone else. It's you know, cosplaying's a bit like a costuming version of karaoke, right? Karaoke singers don't have to be the best in the world, right? You can still go and have fun at karaoke, even though you're not the best singer in the world. It's the effort you put into it. It's the heart you go into it with, right? Anybody who slags you off for not being able to sing at a karaoke, just fuck off. It's the same with cosplaying. It's, you know, these are your efforts. This is the sort of like, you know, this is your output costume wise. It's nobody else's. You're having fun doing it, and that's all that matters. And if you've got a problem with that, then really you need to go find something else to do.
Yeah.
But again, you know, anyone who's thinking of doing this, don't be put off by it at all, because
no, don't.
It's such a small part of it, and so many other people are there, so supportive, and I met such really good friends from doing this, you know, and people I'd never have met otherwise, sort of thing. And we just, it's just great fun. I mean, again, one of the things you see popping up now at conventions are the free hug signs, where people like hold up these signs offering free hugs. So at MCM just gone, me and my mate Paul mixed it up a little bit. We were in our judge costumes, so we had a free hug sign, and we crossed out hugs, put beatings. And you'd have people running up, seeing a sign. When they got there and read it, they were just like, it's a fair cop sort of thing. And then they have a picture of, you know, judges kind of wailing on them with the day sticks. It was just such good fun.
It always is giving people a beating, I find.
It absolutely, yes. Even better when you're doing it in character.
Yeah. Or naked. Anyway, moving on swiftly.
Yes.
Well, okay, you said the word naked. There is a darker side to cosplay as well, isn't there?
How do you know about the dark side?
Well,
fucking told you.
You've got all.
Give in to your anger, Elton.
You've got these beautiful men and beautiful ladies dressing up, sometimes provocatively.
Yes.
And
yes.
Do the people there sometimes, or has it become more increased that the people go there to lech at the ladies rather than just actually enjoy the whole situation and be part of the con?
In honesty, I don't think so much. I think there is going to be an element of that anywhere. But, I mean, again, MCM, which I was just at, you know, it's a massive, massive one. There are hundreds of thousands of people over the 3 days of 10 Mat. And if you want a ratio, you're talking probably 70-30 dressed up. So 70% of the people there will go in costumes, dressed up, being characters. 30% are just kind of walking around.
That many?
Yeah, seriously. And of that, you know, a lot of those ones just walking around sort of thing are photographers. But they're not lechy sort of photographers. They're doing the cosplay shots and the music video sort of things and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, you know, this is the thing, you know, you go outside, you know, they'll take the picture sort of thing, they post it up on, there's groups online and everything like that sort of stuff. And again, there's a certain amount of, like, if you don't want to have your picture taken sort of thing, people would, it's easy to avoid having it done. You know, there's, at MCM, because it's at Excel, you've got down by the cranes and where that yacht is parked up and everything like that. Where there's space, basically, that's where people who want pictures being taken will tend to congregate and everything like this. If you're up around and inside, no one's going to take your picture. You very rarely get people just trying to surreptitiously take your picture. They'll always come up to you and say, "Can I take your picture, please?" Which has always been great.
Yeah, it's they can be very, you know, very polite about it. Most photographers are. It's, you know, it's just, it is polite just to ask. That's it, you know. But like you said about the dark side of cosplay, there have been, you know, you do hear the stories about girls who get harassed by certain individuals who don't know how to handle, you know, a young woman in a superhero costume.
Yeah.
Or should I say, they like to think they can handle a young woman in a superhero costume when they shouldn't be. And that's always a pity. You know, it's the sort of thing that shouldn't happen. I don't know. It's, you know, a lot of these people complain that, you know, there are certain individuals who are into, you know, let's be honest, certain geeky things where they complain that they don't get interaction with members of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
You know, and then they go and do something like this, and you think to yourself, well, do you wonder why?
Yeah, that's the reason why.
This is it, because you don't know how to act. You don't know how to interact with somebody like that. You know, anybody should be able to get dressed up and not feel threatened. And unfortunately, sometimes, doesn't happen all the time, but there are cases of it out there. You know, that you can. I mean, I don't want to discourage any girl or any woman from dressing up, going out to one of these conventions and actually getting in with the cosplay thing, because you will find it a lot of fun. You will find a lot of support out there as well. People will appreciate your art.
Yeah.
And it's not doing it in a you know, not doing it in a lechy way. It's just that genuinely, I mean, there's an awful lot of female cosplayers out there, and to tell you the truth, I think a lot of the female cosplayers are better at it than the men. They seem to dish out, there's an awful lot of female cosplayers out there on Facebook. You look at it, it's very popular. But like I say, there is that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it doesn't happen all the time, but it still does happen, and it's a real shame.
So, has anyone given you a little cheeky squeeze?
No. But then, no, not me, not at all.
Yeah, the funny thing, when you're walking around in the judge costume, it's quite an intimidating costume anyway. And one of the additions on my costume, which isn't part of the film, but I added because it's fun, is I have a collapsible day stick, the ASP, which usually means if someone hurls abuse at a judge, you just pull out the day stick, give it a flick sort of thing, and that usually shuts them up very quickly.
Mm.
Well, yeah, you do. When you're dressed as a judge, you do look like you could give them a good kick in anyway. So you're pretty much armoured up. You're padded. Like it says, you've got the day stick there, and even if it's a plastic one, which they all are anyway, because I think the sticks they're illegal, aren't they, Andy?
Yeah. Again, a whole other conversation we could have about prop weapons and stuff like that. I mean, technically speaking, the lawgiver gun, which Dredd has, under the Violent Crime Reduction Act law, is technically illegal.
Now, is that illegal over here or over in America? Because isn't there a law where you have to have an orange tip on a gun?
Okay, so the Violent Crime Reduction Act, or VCRA, effectively says you can own a replica weapon if you have a legitimate reason to own it. And they're very, very vague on what the legitimate reason to own it is. I get around it because I run a film production company. If you do airsoft and that sort of thing, and I'm a member of a group, they're allowed to own one. Mm-hmm. And if you're a reenactor, they're allowed to own it. But that is usually it. However, and this is the great thing about the police and security at these events, is they're very much a sensible option. As long as you're not walking down the street waving a gun around at people, they're fine with it. They're not going to give you any grief. Some conventions, and this seems to be more in the US than over here from what I've seen, are getting a little bit like it has to have the orange tip or it has to be surrendered at the beginning and they won't let you take it in at all. But I've not had anything like that happen over here at all. So
no, I've not seen that either. I think they understand what's going on.
Yeah, because I'd imagine people would come a cropper with swords as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, you see samurais at these events and stuff like this. I mean, MCM again, we had a couple of the police officers, the PCSOs sort of thing, want pictures taken with the judges because they recognise the judges and all that, and they want to have a picture taken. So who are we to say no?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I tell a lie. There was, I think it was at Nine Worlds, wasn't it, Andy, where he had the Colonial Marines and they had all their rifles taken off of them.
They didn't have them taken off. They were told they couldn't bring them in, though. But yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
But I was walking around with my lawgiver and no one batted an eyelid.
Yeah, I think if it looks less, the less it looks like a modern day weapon, the better you are.
I'm pretty sure my lawgiver looks more like a modern day weapon than a pulse.
Well, I suppose it does actually. Yeah, it looks more like a modern day weapon than the actual one from the comic. So,
Yeah, from the photos I've seen, it does look pretty real.
Yeah.
But then again, if you're walking around with a semi-automatic weapon, then they might not like that in the convention. So these guys were allowed, guys and girls were allowed their weapons outside in the public on the streets.
No. Nine Worlds is a bit of a special case, though, because it actually takes place next to Heathrow Airport. It's like there's the hotel, there's a perimeter road, then there's a runway. So they get a little bit funny.
you couldn't have the terrorists from Back to the Future rolling up in their Volkswagen.
The Libyans?
Yeah.
No. I think that might be dimly viewed upon. Although that does give me a good idea for a cosplay at some point. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's an expensive one, that is. Just getting the van alone.
Can you imagine that? Sort of like, several members of several short members of ISIS turn up as Jawas.
Well, yeah, you could do, Wait, which ISIS are we talking about? Are we talking about the Archer ISIS or the other one?
The other one.
Okay, just checking.
The rather angry ones,
Yes.
So what about what about preparation for these things? Because hang on, let me go back into this. Lee was having a little dig at you, Darren, earlier on. Yeah. Saying,
why am I surprised? What,
do you have to start doing your hair a week before Nine World so you can arrive on time at the comp?
He's already started. Never mind a week.
See, he keeps going on about it. My hair these days is a quick 2-second rough up with some gel in it, and that's it. I'm done. I am finished these days. I mean, there's not much of it left, so it's going.
So okay, preparing for these cons. If you've got your suit and your armor and your weapons and stuff like that, does it take much preparation to be ready, and also when you're thinking about going to a con as a new character, how long would that generally take?
That's quite interesting, doing a new character, because every time I've taken one of my costumes out for the first time, it's been a learning experience, because you're learning just what's properly glued on, what's not properly glued on, what's going to fall off. I mean, on my Dread costume, you have what's called the medical pouch on the side, which in the film is full of the stapler and the stuff to sew him back up. My one's full of super glue and tape, because you're just walking around waiting for stuff to fall off. Yeah. And when it falls off, it's just running repairs. And
it's a bit like being a leper,
Yes.
Duct tape.
But and I tell you what, that's another great thing about these cons, though, is everyone will have a repair kit on them, and everyone's willing to help you. Yeah. So I was at a con, and someone crashed into my pack and actually snapped the proton wand, and it broke.
Get out of it! Really?
Yeah, it's probably snapped. So slightly irritating. I bent my wand. My wand was bent in public, no less. But the great thing was, found a place where I could park, put my pack down and have a look at it, sort of thing. There was a table nearby with some other costumers, and they had super glue, duct tape, all the sort of stuff you need to make running repairs. Within 5 minutes, it was fine to get through the rest of the day. I mean, I could fix it properly when I got home, and that's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's all good. Very, very helpful community.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
It's funny. The other thing is when you're walking around, again, you don't know anyone for toffee, but they know the characters. So you're walking along and someone will shout Ghostbuster, or they'll shout out Judge Dredd, or whatever you're dressed as, sort of thing. And it kind of helps if you're in the mindset of that character, because then you can kind of react appropriately. Can I just field this question everyone's asking on the thing about?
I'm watching this happen here now.
So you want to know? So how do you go to the bathroom? Well, okay. So in the judge leather sort of things, find a large cubicle basically. Hang the vest on a coat hook sort of thing, and after that it's quite simple. Just drop your leather pants. The Ghostbuster one's quite easy actually. But there's 2 zips on the jumpsuit, so you can just pull up the zip from the bottom, and away you go.
You pull out the other proton thrower.
You pull out the other wand, and try not to cross the streams. Obviously, as for women, though, sorry, sucks to be
you. No, I was going to make a comment about opening the trap, but no.
No. Moving on.
Oh, dearie me.
Moving on swiftly. Sorry, what were we talking about again?
So, if money was no object, what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would. Well, I mean, there's the judge armor, of course. There's doing that, but I think it would have to be something. I mean, really, really impressive. It would probably be something like a full set of N7 armor from Mass Effect, or something like that. Something big.
But would you buy it, or would you make it yourself?
I would probably buy it.
Right.
Like I say, I'm trying to learn some skills to make stuff. I don't know, maybe some sort of seamster sort of skills. Sewing stuff together, making outfits. That would be good. That would save an awful lot of time, and that would save an awful lot of money. But no, it would have to be something big and armoured.
Right. By the way, in the chat room, Amber does say that she has a she-whiz now.
A she-whiz?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent stuff.
I think we can safely file that under the too much information.
Oh, Jack Woodgate's just said life-size Titan suit.
Do you mean Attack on Titan or Warhammer Titan?
Oh, well...
No, he's talking Attack on Titan.
Have you seen that Titan suit that someone did actually make? It's a drivable Titan robot
Really?
type thing. Yeah. It looks brilliant, and military are looking at it going, maybe we can adopt this.
Hold on. Are you sure it's the Titan and not the robot that they had, the mech?
Well, it was called a Titan.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you meant somebody's made a life-size Titan from bloody Attack on Titan. I'm thinking,
No.
Christ.
No, this was just
How terrifying is that,
That would be creepy. But, yeah, there is a metal robot thing on 4 wheels, but on stilts that you can jump
that
in.
was from that was this kind of Robot Wars thing they did, wasn't it?
But it's huge.
This kind of battle thing. I saw something about that. Yeah. The thing I find with that though is it's huge, but it's incredibly slow, and like it just has target written in big letters up on it.
Yeah. Come back, bad guys. Oh, you're disappearing. Please come back.
Do you hear something that sounds like an approaching Hellfire missile?
See, if I was to spend any money,
yeah.
See, the Attack on Titan stuff seems cool because it's practical. Apart from the jump and like the lasso stuff that they have, I can't remember what they're called. The grappling stuff.
If you're talking about the actual the troops, the Rangers, then that's fine. It depends on how far you want to go with that. You have to ask yourself, okay, I want to go. If I'm going to go the full pelt and I'm going to have like the packs on my legs and stuff like this, am I going to want to carry those around for the whole day, or do I just want to get dressed in the uniform and walk around in that?
Yeah.
What can I be bothered with? Some people, you see them go around in conventions, they make the full-size anime swords. And I mean, these things, they're like a surfboard with a handle on them.
Right.
They're that big. I mean, you only have to look up things like, if you look up Cloud cosplay, as in the character Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and you just have a look at the size of that sword.
Oh,
Christ,
yeah.
it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll tell you that you want, if you're going to be walking around a con all day, you want to be able to have your hands free as much as possible. Just because carrying something around sucks.
I'm actually looking to do an Assassin's Creed cosplay if I can still get hold of the costume. Because there's one on sale. It's the, for anybody who's played Assassin's Creed 2, it's the Firenze assassin.
Ezio Auditore.
Yeah, that one, the one he gets the upgrade when they let him into the special club, and then it goes from being white to dark. So it's black with red bits in it. It looks really cool.
Mm. Yeah.
I saw a fantastic, what's his name, Kenway, the pirate one, at LFCC with all the muskets.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the one I wanted to do because that's my favourite Assassin's Creed character. Next to is it Ezio?
Yeah,
that's one from 2, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, the latest one, the one I played, the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. The character in that is just brilliant. He's really, really good. Cheeky scamp.
So, is there any cosplays that haven't been done that you're surprised that haven't been done?
Well, there's one that me and you were discussing, Andy. Remember all that time ago about the judge from Titan.
Yes. We have discussed this a few times. So you'll find if it's with the costumes, if it's an established, certainly with film or TV sort of thing, there'll be someone who's done it. But one of the great things you can do in the world is you kind of elaborate upon it and see something that would fit into the world which you might not necessarily have seen. So within the world of Judge Dredd, we thought would be a good one to do is if you had a judge who'd gone bad,
which you do in the comics anyway. They get sent to penitentiary on on Titan. And that they have their features physically altered so that instead of having like a nose, they've now got breathing apparatus inserted into their face. And that's the kind of thing that stopped anybody from doing that before, because really, I mean, it really is chopping off your nose to spite your face. That is, you would have to remove it. But because you have the Judge Dredd world of 2012, you can now do realistic interpretations of those characters. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a hollow nose. You could have a fixture over the top of it just to make it a bit more realistic.
Well, there's people that do Skeletor as well, aren't there?
Well, there are, but they
He-Man!
Yeah, they do the full face masks with those, but it's always replacing. It's the nose gets in the way, and I've got like a fucking great big conch. It goes in my odd shaped head, which is why I'm having so much trouble finding a fucking Judge Dredd helmet at the moment. It's got to the
euphemism.
fact now, it's got to the fact where we're going to have to make one.
Yeah,
just because my head is such an odd shape and I've got such a big fucking nose. It's no fun. It's no fun going around a convention, right? You're dressed as a judge, which I've been. I mean, I've borrowed Andy's outfit before, but it's no fun going around feeling like you've got your nose pressed up against a fucking window all the time. Yeah, look at me. I'm so cool. I'm not just cool. Yes, I am the law. So it's like that. And somebody jogs you a little bit too hard, and it's sort of like the nose, the cross part across the nose cuts into you. I've had that before, where I've actually sort of like cut the bridge of my nose because I've been wearing it. And the helmet is just a little bit too small for me. And he's got a normal sized head. I haven't. So yeah, I don't know how big this helmet's going to be. It's going to be like the fucking Millennium Dome. That's how big it's going to be. You're going to get people wanting to walk up the side of it and see the view from the top. That's how big it's going to be.
It's at this point, it's less doing a judge and more one of those manta tanks.
Yeah. Let's do that. Yes, that's it. That's basically what it's going to look like.
Darren can be the manta tank. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Somebody just put. In fact, Martin Thompson just suggested I do. He's just suggested Judge Cow, but then he went Judge Birdseye. So, gar.
No, I quite like the idea of you doing Judge Fish.
Bloop. There we go.
Judge Fish. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Judge Fish is just basically
to Google.
One of the chief judges that took over Mega City 1 was Judge Caligula or Judge Cal, and like the Roman emperor, he was completely and utterly fucking mad. So much so that his second in command was a goldfish in a goldfish bowl.
I remember. Was it
with his own custom judge badge?
Yes.
Did Jim mention this on?
Yes, he would have done on Hypnobobs.
Yeah.
When he was doing the history of Judge Dredd, you would have heard about that. But it is, it's always that famous picture. He refers to Judge Fish, and all he get out of the fish is bloop, and that's his decree. So there we go. So that might actually be one to consider for me if I can't get a judge helmet. Is just go as Judge Caligula. And have a goldfish bowl. Have a goldfish bowl with a fish in it.
Right, I'm looking at. Is that the same person then? Judge
Cal.
Yeah, Judge Cal. It's Judge Caligula.
Oh, and his fish is called Judge Fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Flipping hell.
And you see, there's the famous picture off the front of the graphic novel. Is he's also got a judge who's standing there in the boots. And it's all he's standing there is in boots and the judge helmet, and he's got like a pair of spotted boxer shorts on, but no judge uniform on between that.
I've just found it.
Yeah, there you go.
And there's another judge with a balloon and a pinny on.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we had mentioned, he was slightly insane.
It was bonkers.
Also, Darren, Amber suggests that if you just get a wig, you could go as Judge Anderson. She doesn't wear a helmet, so you know.
No, she doesn't, does she? I could do that.
You could do cross-dressing Anderson.
I could, yes. I think I will actually. There you go. I get to wear heels. Yay!
What costume would you do?
Well, I do like the Attack on Titan stuff because that looks quite cool. Mm-hmm. Would I actually do anything though?
Well, I'll tell you what, let's rephrase this slightly, okay? If you could cover your entire face, like, become a stormtrooper or something like that, would that make you feel better about dressing up in the costume, to think that nobody can see who you are, you're just completely covered from head to toe? Would that make a difference?
Yeah, I think so.
But it helped me, because I was much like yourself. When it was first kind of muted, I did this. I was like, yeah, fuck, right off. That's not happening.
Yeah.
But with the judge lid on, sort of thing, you suddenly realise that no, you're not you. You're the character.
Exactly.
Or at least you're perceived that way.
See, for me, it's just a dressing up thing. I've always walked away from dressing up parties and various guises like that, just because I don't like dressing up. I don't like being told, right, you must dress like this. I just dress and that's it. I dressed. Ask my mum when I was a young kid. She's like, no, you must dress like this. No, I don't want to wear my joggers instead of my jeans. And I've been like that all the way through my life. And so the dressing up thing doesn't appeal to me even now. Even putting a helmet on, I wouldn't want to go as a stormtrooper because that is obvious.
Well, how about someone like Darth Revan or something like that? That's one of the earlier Darths who basically just no flesh showing whatsoever, completely encased.
I think I'd rather go with someone from a TV show,
anyway.
like Rick Grimes. How about
what? Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Look, see, it's a nice, easy cosplay to do.
Yeah, Rick Grimes or I don't know.
Would you consider doing something with your kids?
What, as like a threesome sort of thing?
This is going down very dangerous territory, but yeah, it's like if there's a kind of thing. So, like, if you went as Rick Grimes and have your kid go as what's his name?
Carl.
Yeah. Carl.
Yeah. He would make a good Carl, I think.
It's just I've observed a lot of people that do it, go with their kids and stuff like this, and they'll go in a costume which kind of complements what their kids, and there's an entire family called the Super Mayans. It's mum, dad, and a young kid about 3 and a baby sort of thing, and they went as Transformers. Like, all of them were dressed up as Transformers. And then there's Michelle Lally, who Darren knows from Nine Worlds. She goes as Judge Anderson. Her boy does she sometimes does a Star Trek one, and her boy goes as a science officer as well. And Viv just goes as whatever the hell she wants because she's Viv. In fact, one of the things they did last year, which was quite good, is Shell went as Daenerys from Game of Thrones, and Viv had a little dragon onesie, and it was the cutest thing ever. It was awesome.
Well, was it a few years ago? I went to a convention in Wales, and they had, for the cosplay competition, I think they won it as well. They had a family of 3 turn up as the Futurama cosplay. They turned up as the monsters from Omicron Theta.
Percy I-8.
That's it.
Omicron Percy I-8.
Yeah, they had the mum and dad dressed as the 2 main characters, and they had the baby dressed up as one of the monsters as well.
That is awesome. It was
fantastic. Have you heard about Baby Davros as well?
No.
Yeah, there's a small baby that goes around. It's in a walker, but they've done it out like Davros's chair. So
that wasn't because at Nine Worlds there was it Gab Thorpe was walking around and his kid was in like the UFO stroller.
See, that's creativity for you. That's great. It's got a sense of humour about it,
Yeah.
Not taking it too seriously, just having a laugh with it, and that's great. And people want pictures taken with that,
Yeah. And that's the great thing as well. Is if you are feeling kind of slightly self-conscious, but you want to go and do at least experience it sort of thing. If your kids are in for it sort of thing, you go with the kids basically. So you're there to let them have fun. You're doing your dad sort of thing, but at the same time, you can find out if you enjoy it or not. If you don't enjoy it, fine. You've ticked it off your box sort of thing. You don't feel like a wally because you were there with the kids and all that, and then fine. But
everybody thinks you're great as well.
I have a sneaky suspicion you'd probably end up really enjoying it somehow.
Well, yeah, I think I said this to the guys when we was recording Black Dog, that I didn't turn up to meet you at the Excel Centre, wasn't it?
MCM, yeah.
And it was due to me just having a massive panic attack. Now, I always do this, whether I'm going to a gig, whether I'm going on a holiday, or even down the road. I once I'm there, I'll love it, and I know that sort of thing. I'll get there, and I'm there, and I would really, really enjoy it. The problem is, I panic about getting there, and I'm a proper moaner. You may not have noticed, but
What, you mean more so than I am? I mean, I think I gave a good advert for Old Renty Man at the beginning of this.
Wait, if we think we get one more, we could go as the 4 old Yorkshiremen from Monty Python.
We could go as not so much as the Spanish Inquisition, but as maybe
no one would expect that.
No, exactly. We could just go as sort of like the Spanish moaners or whatever, and turn up in the same outfits and just moan.
When
at
I
people.
was a lad, the Pope would send us to Inquisition. We had to pay for privilege.
yeah, I don't know. Would I take my son to it? I don't know. I would take them to enjoy the actual experience of it, and then it's up to them to make their mind up whether they want to carry on doing that or not. And if they want to go next year and dress up, yeah, you go for it. And I'll never stop them doing anything like that whatsoever. The problem is actually getting me there to take them there. That's where it all falls down.
Let me ask you this, Elton. Right now, I know that I'm appealing to the Star Wars fan in you now when I ask this.
Set your feelings,
If somebody came up to you and said, "Look, in this box, I've got the world's most perfect Boba Fett costume, right? It is literally, you can't tell it from the one that was on the movie, and it fits you like a glove." Would you wear that at a convention? Sorry?
It'll be hard not to, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Remember,
It would be
Boba Fett
rude.
doesn't really say anything, so you could just stay in character all the time and just glare at people.
You'd have to be careful of a crazy Irish woman charging towards you, but other than that, you'd be fine.
A crazy Irish woman?
It's a friend of mine and Darren's called Joanne, who has just a little bit of a thing for Boba.
Good Lord, yeah, that and Haribo.
Oh, yes. I'm friends with her, yes.
Yeah, yes. Just if you were to do something like that, just maybe not mention it to her, for your own safety.
Oh yeah, she totally loves the Fett.
Yes, she can't get enough of the Fett.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool.
She gets wet for Fett.
You realise somewhere her smart sense is tingling.
She's like, it's that, suddenly her ears prick up. It's like, oh?
I sense something I've not felt since.
That's your mic, Andy.
Oh, yeah, it was mine. You think it was Andy? That's like, you're about to have a short, mate.
Am I Darking?
Oh, there we go. That's better.
That's better. That was amazing. Maybe even like a TIE fighter pilot, because I went to Cambridge a couple of years ago, and I was walking around John Lewis, and they had a Boba Fett, a guy dressed up as Boba Fett, just for no reason whatsoever. They had a stormtrooper and a TIE fighter pilot, and everyone wanted their photo with Boba Fett or the stormtrooper. And this poor old TIE fighter pilot was kind of photobombing everything because nobody really wanted a photo with him.
I know, that's a real shame when that happens. A lot of effort's been put into a costume and nobody wants their photograph taken with you.
Oh,
I get that, but I think a lot of it as well is you make of it what you... If he's photobombing it, full marks to him. It's one of the reasons I really want to do the Spanish Inquisition at a con. Just because...
That's what we get. Are we still going to do that?
We are going to do the Spanish Inquisition because no one will expect it. But I don't know which con it'll be. Possibly LFCC. I don't know yet. But the Spanish Inquisition, I know that spiel down note. And we will photobomb every photo, every interview, everything. I might even get someone else, another friend, to kind of strike up conversations with people. and at the right moment just say, "Oh, excuse me, I didn't expect the Spanish Inquisition."
Nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, and just kind of like burst in from nowhere.
I'm Cardinal Fang, that's it. I don't have to say anything except go,
Yeah,
not the fluffy pillows. I'm going to take I'm going to bring some pillows with me.
Yes,
In
yes.
fact, that's it. Bring from the hotel room. Yes. So there we go. That's my prop.
Yeah, I might even be tempted to kind of, go as the Ghostbuster for the morning sort of thing, and later on just like park the pack somewhere sort of thing, throw on the robes over the top, and then there you go, you're set.
That's it.
Could you do that for the whole day though? That Spanish Inquisition.
I could.
Oh, yes.
I could quite happily.
But would everyone appreciate it for the whole day?
I think, well, this is these are big locations, so it's not like you're in one room for the entire time. So you've got a chance to kind of get out and around that. And it's those sort of more outgoing. Look, if you go to these conventions, you're going to see a huge amount of stormtroopers. You're going to see a huge amount of Disney characters, stuff like this. It's the one or two. Everyone knows it, but not everyone's done it. I mean, one of the things I saw at MCM, which gave me such joy to see, someone was walking around dressed as Londo. That
Really?
alone. Yes, there was a Londo there.
Wow.
I ran up to him and I just said, "There! Don't sell the homeworld!" And it was just such a delight to see a Babylon 5 costume going around. And everyone was running up to him and just saying how good it was to see this sort of a costume. And that's the great thing, sort of thing. It's people recognise it, they know what it is, and it's different. So they want to go and have their pitch taking it. And yes, we are Martin, but we're not going to say that in case she listens to this.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're not. No.
Okay, I've just read that as well.
Yes. Shush. Don't say a word.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I very much doubt that she's
Okay,
listening,
something.
but yeah.
Just in case.
No, we'll probably bottle it anyway at the end. So
Quite possibly, yes.
Yeah, whatever
almost,
you do,
almost guaranteed.
just don't half do it. Otherwise, it's a case of I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Sorry.
Nobody expected us.
Well, look. I think, and again, Darren will attest to this. I never do anything by half.
No. It's go big or go home.
Oh yes.
Or go big or go extinct. One of the two.
Yeah. Yes. Either way, but that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I still think if you get a chance, come on down to Nine Worlds, Elton, because it's going to be me, Darren, half a Black Dog's going to be there.
Everybody, it's like you've got a ready-made group there, Elton.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I'm really hoping to get the orgs down there because they're talking about doing a Star Trek cosplay for a while, and since the Star Trek Destination one's not going on, Anne-Marie was talking about going as Lursa or Betor. I'm just saying, you want to come along just to see that?
I don't even know what that is.
Trust me, you will. You will.
Yeah.
So these cons, they're expensive to get in, aren't they?
Some
well,
are not.
it depends on which ones you go to and how long you go for. Nine Worlds itself is going to be pretty expensive from my point of view anyway, because I'm paying to stay in the Radisson Edwardian, and that itself, I mean, that's like 350 quid for those 4 or 5 days.
Ay caramba.
That's for two of us staying in the room. It's all breakfast, free Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff, and the rooms are pretty nice in there from what I remember. But yeah, I mean, it is a bit much.
Something like MCM is about 15 quid for a day ticket if you want to go in, but you don't have to go in to experience it. You can just go and stand outside because everyone's out there, or everyone's in costume, dressed up. There's a pub next door. It's great going to a Fox pub at XL when the convention's on because everyone's sat around in costume drinking.
Oh, something else as well that you might actually spot when you're outside. You may spot some camera crews. There's a group of guys called Sneaky Zebra, and they do some absolutely fantastic convention cosplay videos. It's like a music video, and they just keep cutting to different cosplayers, but they just choreograph it really well. I mean, Andy, you've seen the Sneaky Zebra stuff, haven't you?
Yeah,
yourself?
I was going to say, a controversial opinion here, though. I'm getting sick and tired of fucking cosplay music videos.
Really?
They're all the same.
Okay, maybe if you watch too many of them, but I mean...
Yeah, I've watched 2.
You've watched 2?
Yes, at this point I have now seen... Oh, look, there's a music track, and oh, look, there's cosplayers, and oh, yay. I'm sorry, I know, look, if you're into that, that's great, and I don't want to take it away from anyone, but...
I think they choose really good music for their videos.
So that might be it, if you've got a good track to it, then it's fine,
Yeah.
but I'm yet to hear someone do Back in Black to one, and until that happens, I'm pissed.
These videos, are they produced by a bigger firm that are hanging around there, or is it just people just knocking them up themselves?
It's the Sneaky Zebra Boys. They do it. They're really slickly produced. They really are great, and they just make anyone in them look really, really good.
Lots of tilted camera shots.
Yeah, and they just do sort of like a certain signature pose or movement from that character.
I think I saw.
I've just thrown it up on the Mixer site, so you can.
Have you been in one of these as your Ghostbuster?
I have.
I think I saw that recently. I'm sure I saw that. Where did
it was
I?
In March. I was in one, I think.
Did you put it up on your Facebook group of?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't. Someone else did, though. Someone else did it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I was in one, and it's good fun. And again, when you're out there in costume, no hassle whatsoever. You know, I'm more than happy to have them come and do the picture sort of thing and all that sort of stuff. But it's after the fact when, after any con, there's going to be at least half a dozen of those done, because as well as Sneaky Zebra, there's about 5 other groups there also doing cosplay music videos, and you just get fatigue from it sort of thing. So for me, I don't tend to look for them. Even if I'm in it, I'm just like, well, that's great. But I have the joy in putting the costume together and wearing it at the con, and after that, I'm kind of done with it. Yeah. I like to get a decent set of pictures taken. I usually go with my mate Ken or someone like that, and he'll take some sweet pictures of the costume. But then that's kind of it. It's really just an excuse to enjoy wearing it and just being out there and stuff like that. I don't take a camera with me at all, because I'm not interested in taking pictures. I'm not interested in collecting pictures of people's costumes. That's just me personally. So for me, it doesn't do a huge amount.
You did a really good photo shoot with your judge uniform when you first got it. They were fantastic pictures. Those really well done, good action shots. Have you seen them at all, Elton?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen.
I'm waiting to do a Ghostbuster one with my mate Ken. We've got a location. It's like an abandoned. It used to be a brewery.
Oh right,
it's down near Brick Lane. So we're trying to go down. I've got a couple of friends also with Ghostbuster costumes. We're going to go do a photo shoot down there, which should be a lot of fun. Get smoke machines out, lights coming through ratings and everything.
Yeah,
that'd be a laugh.
Jack Woodgate has actually put an interesting question up on the board there. It says, "What is your favourite example of an amalgamated cosplay or mashup, as they're otherwise known? For example, I once saw a good Boba Wolverine." So, good amalgamations. There's an awful lot of Boba Fett ones out there mixed with other characters.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of. I think Deadpool ones are pretty good, where you get a variation of another character, but they've added Deadpool elements to it. For anybody who doesn't know who Deadpool is, he's a completely mental assassin from Marvel Comics. There's a film coming out in the next year or so, who's got such a high rate of healing factor that he's literally indestructible. No matter what people do to him, he just comes back. Limbs grow back on him and everything. But he's got a really good sense of humour, and it's one of I think he's the only character in the Marvel universe that knows he's in a comic book.
Right. Okay.
So he's always looking at the reader and making a comment, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So
he's the wisecracking one, isn't he? Because I've seen the teaser trailer for it. Ryan Reynolds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Deadpool one. I mean, in terms of ones that I've seen, my favourite ones are usually when they subvert the character, so kind of put a humorous twist. So the Hello Kitty Darth Vader always makes me chuckle, just because. And it's the thing; it's a really, really good costume. It's properly well done.
To Google,
but it's pink. It's pink Darth Vader basically, and that's what it is. I actually do have an idea for a cosplay mashup. And you know what? What the hell? I'll tell you all what I'm going to do. Darren already knows this. So one of the things in the judge community is you are starting to get a few people take themselves a little bit too seriously. And it's understandable why you do so when you're dressed up as a bloody motorcycle riot cop from the future. So you always see people dressed up as the 2012 judge, and you see a few people done up as the comic judges, but you never see anyone done as the 95 Stallone judge. You know,
Good reason.
But with good reason. I grant you, with good reason, because no one in their right mind would want to wear one of those costumes. But I've got an idea for a mashup. I want to do Judge Flashart, as in Lord Flashart from Blackadder, as a 95 judge. I want
got the codpiece as well, which is perfect.
It's got the codpiece.
Overemphasise the codpiece.
The blonde tash sort of thing. I want to walk up to someone dressed up as Dredd and go, "Hello, Dredd, still worshipping the law? Last I heard, the law's worshipping me." Ah! I want to walk up to, there's a couple of these guys who've got quite impressive beard and go, "Hello, suitor, like the beard, gives me something to hang on to." Woof! And just spend the entire day walking around like that. And that's something I'm planning to do for next year. Yes, Jack, you get it.
See, has anyone done like the... Because you have The Walking Dead, and you got Ewoks, and there is a very famous T-shirt with Ewoking Dead. Now, that would be quite cool.
Brilliant.
I'll tell you, I'm going to spoil one of Darren's ideas here, but only because it's already been spoiled, which was a genius idea.
Yes.
Darren had this fantastic idea of doing Super Mario Dick in a Box.
Yeah, have you heard the song Dick in a Box?
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be basically Mario and his brother walking around with, the boxes that they jump up and hit with their heads or jump onto.
With the question.
It would be those, exactly, on the groin.
Right.
So apparently there's already been a Doctor Who one, somebody dressed as Matt Smith's Doctor and somebody dressed as David Tennant's one, and they've got TARDISes over their groins.
Right.
So, yeah.
I've just found... just Googled that Ewoking Dead cosplay, and there's that the Stormtrooper zombie book, and it looks like there's a zombie walk because they have these zombie walks. Do they have them over here as well?
They do.
In Bristol they had one. They used to have it before some bunch of twats, and this was at the one we were at when we went and did. It was like about 3 years ago. Went to Rob's again for Halloween, and we did a sort of like all got made up as zombies and whatever. But during the day, we went down and joined the zombie walk.
Yep.
And it was going really well until a few individuals decided to get out of the van and cause trouble. Oh. And that was it. Bristol City Council went, right, that's it, no more. All because of those few fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. You just see all kinds of zombies and people dressed up, painting their face green and whatever, tattered clothing.
Because I'd like to see that as well. If I was just... It's like going to see the London Marathon. You know where you're going to stand, you know where they're going to walk, and then you watch all these zombies walk past. That'd be very cool to see. I'd love that.
Me and might have spoken about doing a Dredd zombie at some point, but... The judge costume is not, as I mentioned, exactly inexpensive, and to do it properly, it would require ruining one a little bit. So we're like a little hesitant to do it just now.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. Would you class? Right. I'm going to mention two things first. I need to say these two things.
Yes.
There was a guy dressing up as a clown on Bristol streets. I think it was. Would you class that as cosplay?
No, I would class that as just fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because that's just fucking creepy. The Bristol clown, it was just, just stands there and stares at people.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
But in the same respect, I think it was in Australia, I might be getting this totally wrong, but there was a guy doing the similar sort of thing, but he was dressing up as the Triangle Man from Silent Hill.
Pyramid Head.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And just dragging around his big sword, I think it is.
Yeah.
Can I just say, by the way, somebody's just put up a picture. This bloke is playing about 6 different Johnny Depp characters.
Oh yes, it's all of them in one. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, Edward Scissorhands, Tonto from Bloody Lone Ranger, Captain Jack, and who's the other? Let's see what else. I think there's a Hunter S. Thompson.
Yep, the sunglasses.
Oh, that's right. With the cigarette as well, and a little bit of Sleepy Hollow in there as well. Christ, that's just excellent.
I need to look at that. Oh, I've just found the Mario one that Andy put up.
Which one? Who put that up?
I did.
Oh, right. Okay, let's have a look.
I'm looking at the Glenn one. Oh, okay. The one that Glenn put up in the chat room of the Johnny Depp one. Wow, there's a lot in there that I...
Depp character, every Johnny Depp character ever.
Wow. Is the one in... Okay, right. He was in Nightmare on Elm Street, wasn't he? Oh, of course. No.
He was, no, Johnny Depp was in Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes. He played one of the Dream Warriors, as they called themselves.
So, is that in the costume?
Probably not, but then that's just a kid in a t-shirt and jeans.
I suppose,
so, you know, the floppy hairdo. So, no, I think it's more the extreme characters. I don't know if a bit of Willy Wonka is in there as well, maybe.
Bloody hell. That takes some dedication there, doesn't it?
It's certainly
some imagination, certainly, as well.
Jack Woodgate says Lee Slenderman.
I think he was referring to when you were trying to describe Pyramid Head. But that's another example of someone dressed up out and about in a cosplay.
No, but didn't Lee see someone round Shooter's Hill?
Yeah, that was...
yeah, that was it. He was driving me home. Well, in fact, he'd driven me home. We got back to mine. And as he left me, he said, somebody just stepped out from behind a tree dressed as the Slender Man and started walking towards his car. And he was like, fuck this game for a game of soldiers. I'm out of here. So he put his foot down and went. So, scared him.
In the right aspects, that would scare the shit out of you, wouldn't it?
It would.
But it is a genius way of just scaring the shit out of people.
Yeah. Unless you should pick on the wrong person.
Yeah.
You know, there's always that. Me and Lee did have a bit of a weird experience cosplay-wise once. Or it was more Lee, but I was stood nearby when it happened. And I saw the look on his face. So we're in this bar, we're in a sci-fi bar. A bar used to be open called Pages, which is, you know, they used to have guests from different TV shows like Star Trek. They'd come over and come over for the evening, and people buy tickets, go in, and they'd have like a talk there or whatever. And it was just a generally good bar. And we just finished going to a Babylon 5 convention we were still dressed in the Psychor outfits. So these are the psychic police, right? Remember that? The psychic police from Babylon 5. So we both go off to the loo, right? I'm just standing there washing my hands. Lee's taking a piss up the wall. And some bloke in a Star Trek uniform walks up to him and goes, "You're not really psychic, are you?" And it was just the look on Lee's face. He didn't say a word. He just looked at me as if to say, "Who is this cunt?" I think we better get out of here, mate. Let's go. Woof. So yeah, you do get some strange people, you know, involved in cosplay.
I was looking on I'm a member of a Facebook group called, I think it's the Replica.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but
I know the one you mean.
They build replicas, and there is a guy on there building his own Rancor costume. Now that is going to be a ball ache.
I don't think that's a costume, as in a freestanding prop. I know the thing you mean. It's actually got its own fan page. It's called Roxy or Rosie. Rosie the Rancor. Rosie the Rancor, and it's full size prop which they take out to cons in the US, and then people go and have their pictures taken with it. And they're looking to add some sort of animatronics to just like have it moving somewhat. But the thing is terrifying. You just see the size of this thing. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
See, the one I was watching, he was propping it up on a mannequin and building it so you can have it on your shoulders and walk around with it.
Oh, right, so it's more of a puppet than a... It's a puppet!
Yeah, like a Jim Henson type thing.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, well, that's cool.
Oh, awesome.
That's going to be a ball ache walking around with that, though.
Well, yeah, you know, it's a bit extreme. How long are you going to, you know... How long before that gets really old?
Yeah.
You know, for you personally. I suppose it does. It depends on how much interest it generates with people that are there. You know, will people keep coming up and ask to have their photographs taken? Because it can keep you going with that.
Yeah.
You know, the attention. It's when you don't get the attention, that's when suddenly the costume starts to weigh more than you thought, and it becomes a little bit more uncomfortable than you were expecting, all because you're not being distracted by people coming up and asking for your photograph.
Yeah, with the photograph side of things, a lot of celebrities are moaning because now they're having to do selfies on these red carpet things. Has that changed over however many years you've been doing it? Has it gone from...
Can I just say, they don't have to if they don't want to. Okay? First world problems. Yeah. That's all I'll say to that. Just... So what if you have to do a selfie? What's the difference between that and having someone else hold the camera and have your picture taken with a fan?
I've very rarely had it at cons, people wanting selfies, because usually they want... They honestly don't care about you. They want to see the costume. They want a picture of the person in it. So
they normally want a full-length one.
Exactly. They want to take a picture of the thing. And if they want a picture of them with the person in the costume, they'll either have a friend or they'll ask someone, can you take a picture, and do it that way, sort of thing. So it hasn't really kind of occurred to me at the cons or anything like that.
Oh, that's good then.
Not that it would bother me either way. It's like, if you want my picture taken, fine. I don't care. But just going back to what you were saying before about the dedication, it is important with these projects you pick something that will hold your interest. Because my dread costume took about a year and a half to put it all together. Just like getting the bits together and, from different sources and different places and, getting everything just right. My Proton pack, building the pack only took about 3 months to build. But then as far as like all the other bits and everything like that, probably about, 6 to 8 months. So, yeah.
See, this sort of thing really interests me. Cause,
yes.
Yeah, me and Darren were talking about this yesterday off air.
Yes, and you have a talent that you've revealed to us, Elton, which I'm most impressed with.
It has revealed itself to me as well, and do you know what? I'm going to go full in. Sod it.
I think you should, because I'll come to you for stuff. Don't worry about that. I'll pay you or whatever to play with the materials. I think you're fucking great what you turned out there.
Well, I can do electronics, so
exactly.
I'm not scared of doing that. That's fine. I can cut stuff. I can build stuff. I'm pretty good at that sort of thing. So I'm not scared of, cutting stuff and building stuff and making stuff and painting stuff and doing stuff like that. It's what I'm good at, as it turns out. So
you're very good at it. But don't sort of like, don't put yourself down. That you did that. Just to explain as well. Do you want to put a picture of it on Mixler?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll hunt one down.
The N7 pistol that you created, okay, from a Nerf gun. This looks, even weathering on it and everything, it looks fantastic.
It was damn good.
Yes.
Commander Shepard himself would have been proud of it. Yes, I saw it.
You saw the picture. Brilliant.
In fact, and again, Elton, just as an aside, Mark Meir, the voice of Commander Shepard, was at MCM, just gone. This is the sort of thing, if you took it to him, he would sign it without question or reservation. He would happily sign that for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't work out how to put a photo into there. I'll put it on the Shonky Lab page.
Yeah, stick up there and bung it in the link or whatever.
But yeah, so with the Proton Pack, was that a case of you bought this shell of the Proton Pack and then a kit for the Proton Pack and then this and you put it all together, or did you mold stuff and then work it out?
Oh no, this was largely a kit sort of thing. I bought it from a guy called Nick Bedwell, does Nicotron props. So again, as I said before, I quite like to try and get my stuff as accurate as possible, and ideally I'd like it to have a direct lineage to the film props. So my pack is actually cast from one of the film's stunt packs. That was what the original mold was used from. So he sells the fiberglass shell, and then you collect the components from various people. Nick sells some of them, some you get from other people. The Alice frame is just a military backpack frame. The electronics, there's a lot of people that offer electronics. Mine were from a guy called Sean Swift. And then it's just a case of, assembling it all to yourself. It comes completely rough, so it's got to be sanded, painted, cut down. One of the items, there's a a cylindrical thing at the very base, and you have to cut that to fit the cyclotron just right. A lot of little fiddly details, but it was so much fun to do. I mean, I did it over a few months, like I said. And I know the proton pack now pretty much better than anyone who hasn't built one.
Yeah.
Because when you watch the film now, a better example rather than the proton pack actually is the Blade Runner gun. I built the PKD gun from Blade Runner, and now when I watch the film, every time I see it, I know every detail. I know how it feels. I know, how it fires, how it looks. When the lights are on, you just become much more connected to the prop than you would do just from looking at pictures or anything like that, because you've built it. So, it really kind of helps connect you to it in a way that you can understand it.
Yeah.
And that's lots of fun.
So, but does that become a problem? Because then you have to choose what film you want to go with. Because I saw Adam from Mythbusters, and he was talking about making up his own props, and he wanted to do the Han Solo gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, it changes from shot to shot during the movie, and from movie to movie as well. So really, you where do you go? What gun would you base it on?
So I built with a Blade Runner one. There was only one hero prop. It's the same throughout the entire film.
Right.
There's a couple of stunt ones, but it's only one. I built the Han Solo blaster as well, his DL-44, and I built the A New Hope one because it's the one in all the publicity photos. It's close enough to the one that kills Greedo, and that is how I liked. It's the best looking one in my opinion. But yeah, you're right. You can pick any of those ones to make if you wanted to. There's entire threads, massive threads, on the RPF. Incidentally, the RPF forum, replica prop forum, fantastic community if you want to make replica props of anything like this. And there's a thread, and it's about 260 pages long, just on Han Solo's blaster in Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
And all the little details.
Wow.
They identify every little detail on that gun and everything like that, and it's just so it's so all-consuming. But I mean, okay, Mad Max has just come out. It's what, about 2 weeks now, maybe 3.
Yeah.
There's already threads where they're literally dissecting Max's costume piece by piece. Like, this is the brand of American football thing for his leather jacket. Incidentally, they've identified that the leather jacket he's wearing is the same leather jacket he wears in The Road Warrior. It's just been heavily weathered. They've identified the packs he's wearing on top of that, frame by frame. And this is before the film's out on Blu-ray, so they're literally just going off of publicity shots and trailers and everything like this, breaking it down, getting into the head of a prop designer, trying to understand what they would have done, and then making this information available to people who want to replicate it. And it's just fantastic. And, I can't wait until all that stuff's available, sort of thing, because, some point down the line, I might have a crack at doing a Mad Max costume. Although, in all honesty,
thinking about that.
I'm more likely to do Immortan Joe, just because he's fucking awesome.
Okay, you do a Morton Joe, and I'll do Max. There you go.
There you go.
So where did I hear it that the person who directed the new Mad Max,
George Miller.
Yes.
He wanted the props built, but he wanted them built
Functional.
so they actually work.
Yep. He wanted them to be functional.
So the guitar that the guy plays on that big thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Duke
actually
Warrior.
playing
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him
He built the guitar, took it to George Miller, demonstrated the flamethrower and all this, and the guy held it and he goes, "Yeah, that's really good." And then he says, "Okay, so play me something." And he's like, "This doesn't play." And he goes, "Oh, well, that's a problem, isn't it?"
Wow.
But that's what he wants, and that's the thing, although there's a lot of VFX in there and everything like that, a lot of it's composites, a lot of it's real, and you can certainly see that in the actors when they're working with this sort of stuff. They've got this stuff available to them and it's real. Furiosa's, obviously they didn't chop off Charlie Theron's arm, but they gave her a prosthetic to wear over her arm rather than just giving her a green sleeve. So, it feels real, and they've got something to react to and to work to, and that's it's got a very tactile feel to the world, which is great.
So moving that on to cosplay, does that make any difference if your thing isn't functional in the way that it should be functional, or is it just a case of you're taking part?
Well, the only person that's going to know that it's not functional is you, because let's just face it, that when people look at you, they just see the look. A lot of them don't go up and want to know if the cog on this thing turned around or whatever. They just see it and it's like, wow, look at that! It's a fantastic costume. Look at the detail in it. So yeah, the only person that's going to know is you. And if you're kind of a bit pedantic about it, then you're not going to want to wear it, or you're not going to be totally happy with it until you get it 100% right.
Right.
With the Proton Pack, for example, and we were saying, I was saying to you earlier, when you see an actual film prop, people are often shocked at just how utterly shonky it actually looks. Because all it has to do all it's got to do is look good enough for like the 2 minutes that it's on the screen. Then it doesn't matter. So with the Proton Packs in the film, there's no sound. They only have a light system in it, and all the sound is dubbed in afterwards. Whereas mine has the sound, because for me, the Proton Pack isn't real unless it makes the happy sound. Unless it does, unless it does all that sort of stuff, it's not real. That, for me, is a key part of having the Proton Pack. But the actual props never did that. So you kind of have to make the choice when you're doing it. Do you want it to just be a static prop? Do you want it to be movie accurate? I mean, Nick, who makes the kit parts, he's currently been building one where it's so accurate, it's accurate to how it is inside. He has pictures of the inside of a Proton Pack, and he's replicated that. But all it is just it's a battery and some LED lights, because that's all it needs in there. Whereas mine has got 2 speakers, it's got an amplifier, it's got a closed loop, it's got all these extra little bits and pieces because I want the sound. I mean, this thing plays the theme song. It actually plays the entire soundtrack.
How do you not wear that every day?
Because my back would literally compress on myself. But on those rare occasions when I go out and about, it's just great. I like playing Saving the Day while running through convention halls. It's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
See, this is what you have to do, Elton. You have to make a Proton Pack for yourself, and then you'll want to wear that and come to cons, and it'll be awesome. And then Matt Stevens, if he ever listens to this, will finally finish his as well. And then we can all go hunting ghosts. It'd be awesome.
Indeed. Elton, do you know where sort of like props are concerned? Do you know what the phrase hero means?
Hero?
Yeah. When they say this is the hero gun from this thing.
Is that from like the main shot?
That's right. It's the
best version. It's the most detailed version of a prop.
Oh, okay.
That's right. It's the one that the star has. Like if they say, this is Carl Urban's hero lawgiver, then it's like, well, that's the one he used himself for. When
I just again sidebar slightly on the lawgiver. So in the film, with the lawgiver, you see it has this electronic display and it fires and all that sort of stuff, but that's actually 3 separate guns. You have the one where they're carrying around, which was a stunt pistol. They had one which just had the electronics in to do the ID checks and all that sort of noise effects, and we had another one which fired. But the prop community now have made it so you can actually have one gun which does all of them, because they've shrunk down the electronics on the display. You can now build the shroud around the blowback BB guns, and they're made out of harder wearing resin. So the prop guns are actually better than the film guns.
Yeah, better made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd imagine they're more sturdy as well.
Yeah.
Because you got to go to cons, and you don't want to get your wand bent.
Or some annoying little shit tries to pull the lawgiver out of your holster and smashes it into 17 pieces. Not that happened to me, the little cunt.
Really?
Yeah.
Flipping hell.
What?
I bet he took a beating after that.
Yeah, it was. When was that? That was MCM last October. Kid. I was just walking around a convention and the kid just reached for it, pulled it out of the holster, and it fell and it smashed. But look, that sort of thing happens at the cons, and if you're going to let that get to you, then don't walk around in that sort of stuff. It was just, oh well, never mind. Found a table, out with a super glue. Within 15 minutes, it was good to go again.
Is there a picture of you crying over your lawgiver broken on the floor?
No, but there might be a picture of me with a spade in a very shallow grave just outside the Excel Centre.
How old was the individual?
Let's put it this way: he came up to about where the holster was, so he was probably less than 8. Certainly in the sort of range where I could drop kick him across the hall if I was so inclined.
Yeah, but you know what they say, Andy? Where the law's concerned, age ain't nothing but a number.
This is true, yes. Off to the Jube Cubes with him.
Indeed.
Right, is there anything else that you guys want to add onto cosplay? Because I think we've thoroughly covered this.
I think at the end of the day, there is no right way to do it. The only rule is have fun doing it. If you're not having fun doing it, don't do it. But it doesn't matter if you spend a tenner on your costume and you made it out of cardboard boxes and stuff like that, or if you've spent thousands and thousands and it's, you know, perfectly accurate to the film. There's room for everyone there. It's just great fun. It is the most sincere expression of just being a geek for the sake of being a geek. And honestly, Elton, come along with me and Darren next time. You don't have to come in a costume. Just come along to the thing, sort of thing, just to experience it. You will have a good time. I promise you that. You will enjoy it. And, you know, after that, hopefully, you know, you will join us. You will fall to the dark side, and yes, we shall take over the universe or something like that. I don't know.
You never know. You never know.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Oh God, it's gonna. Okay, maybe like a Marty McFly thing or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
there you go. That's
Michael
it.
J.
You
Fox is going to be at LFCC. Just saying.
Oh God, I'll have to think about it.
And if you do that, we'll get Darren to do as Doc Brown.
Marty! Great Scott! Great Scott, Marty! We've got to go back to the future!
If we get a
Yes.
dog as well, called Einstein.
Well, there's Lee sorted, so you know we're all set.
I could just see him walk in. He's like, woof.
It'd be like Bath, wouldn't he?
Yes.
I'm a mark. I have given thought to doing Dark Helmet as well at some point, just because I like the flip up visor sort of thing. Problem is I'm too tall. I'm not tall enough to do Vader, and I'm too tall to do Dark Helmet.
Oh, I think I'm tall enough to do Dark Helmet.
Oh, there you go. You could do that.
Yeah, I think you could.
That would be a fun one. And that's the thing. That's the sort of costume which a lot of people will come up and be very positive about and just want to have a picture taken and have a laugh. I mean, it's great if you should always costume something you're passionate about as well, because people who are passionate about it are going to come up to you and want to talk about it and engage you with it and just say, this is amazing. Look, if you want to do something from Attack on Titan, you are going to have people coming out the wazoo who just want to talk about Attack on Titan with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it literally is rising up a giant flag saying, I like this, come talk to me about it.
Yeah, you need to be skilled at what you're dressing up as and have the knowledge to back it up as well.
Yeah.
Well,
or
I
at
think
least be able to fake it till you make it.
or you just sit there listening to their enthusiasm pouring out, because there are some people who I've found it with quite a bit of sort of like animated. There are some very enthusiastic people about it that know an awful lot about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, with all the best will in the world, we'd be lost when they started talking about Attack on Titan and going on about the small intricacies of the story and whatever. You know, I mean, I enjoy watching the damn thing, but I can't tell you what colour boots each character was. Apparently there's 3 different colours of boots that the characters wear.
I hadn't even noticed that.
No, nor had I. I was just looking online for the Assassin's Creed costume, and they had, in the same store, they had boots from Attack on Titan, and there's 3 different shades of brown. So, you know.
Yeah, if you rocks up with the wrong colour brown, then you may get dirty looks at some point.
I must admit,
you'll get dirty looks from the wrong people, but the right people won't give a shit.
Yeah.
do you know what? We actually did see them at that convention last year. I thought it was the old Battlestar Galactica that they were really into.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, this is really caught on with the youngsters, man. Look at this. This is some lawn green action going on here. But no, it was Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it got embarrassing when Darren runs up and goes, "For those who believe," and they just looked at him funny.
Starbuck! What? What, you want a coffee, mate? There's price over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuckers.
Right, I'm going to wrap it there, if that's all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
sure.
yeah.
No problem, man.
Okay. So, Darren, have you got
Yeah.
anything to plug before I kick you off?
Apart from the Black Dog, you mean the other podcast that we do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's that one.
It's quite good. Last night, wasn't it?
It was excellent. There were the feedback again was just great. Just a pleasure to read out. You know, Not saying that that every that most episodes of feedback is bad, because no, it's always very interesting. But there are some episodes where it just gets extremely comical.
Can I just call out the feedbackers here? And I myself are guilty of this, but if you keep giving great feedback to crap films, we're going to keep giving crap films. I'm just saying that's going to happen.
Not giving out feedback to good films, people, because we get we have things like The Life of Brian. We get no feedback, or we have Jaws and we get 3 bits of feedback. We have something like that fucking piece of shit we looked at this week, The Spirit, and it's literally pushing the doors in on Lee's house. That's how much feedback we get, Christ almighty. Normally we have 2 to 3 bits of feedback to read out. We had 5 or 6 each last night. There were 4 of us. It was just...
And I lost the ability to actually speak at one point as well.
Oh, I lost my temper God knows how many times just thinking about that film. Because it just makes me angry. God, if I was David Banner or Bruce Banner, I could, that would be it. That would be my control. I could turn into the Hulk anytime I wanted. Just think about the fucking Spirit. How shit was the Spirit, Darren? Hulk smash Spirit.
Well, there you go, Elton, and then you could do the Hulkbuster costume, and then we're all set.
Yeah, the Spirit Buster, I'd call it.
Oh, Christ.
That film was shit. Shit.
Anyway,
shit.
Plug in. Where can people find the Black Dog, Darren?
Oh God, don't ask me this. He always remembers stuff like this.
How do people get in contact with you, Darren?
You can find us on Facebook for the Black Dog Podcast. It's easy to recognise it, but you've got to be careful when you go looking for it, because otherwise you get the Swedish house band called the Black Dog. So yeah, ours has got a little black dog as a little cartoon black dog called Winston as our symbol. That is probably the best way to find out which one, to look out for us.
Or they could go to blackdog.geekplanetonline.com.
There you go. You know this shit. I just chat. I just talk shit on that podcast. That's all I do. I don't worry about the intricacies. Lee does all that.
Oh, look. Jake Woodgate has put it in the chat room at the moment. It's facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast.
You'd never know you had 2 other hosts on it, would you?
No, you wouldn't. No.
Cheers, Jack. And Andy, have you got anything to plug? Plug away, please.
Nothing especially. I do now have one of these Facebook pages things where I post my irrelevant crap about costuming and model making and that kind of stuff. And that's called It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time. And it's recognisable because there's a picture of me dressed up as a Ghostbuster. It's kind of hard to miss.
It is very cool. Right, I'm going to say to the people listening to us in the chat room, just because you've listened to us now, it doesn't mean you don't have to go and download it, this episode. So please, just go download it. You don't have to listen to it again. Just download it, just for the numbers. Thank you very much. Next time, the Shonky Lab is back. It'll be in the same place, roughly the same sort of time. It'll be on Mixler, under mixler.com/Shonky-Lab. And hopefully I will be talking about roller coasters. Now, this has got nothing to do with the devastating accident that they had at Alton Towers maybe a week or so ago. This was already pre-planned. And I will be joined by Greg Spalding. Spalding? I can't remember how to say his name.
Greg of Spalding.
Yeah, Greg.
Sir Greg of Spalding. There we go.
And I'm hoping to get someone else to join us as well. Maybe tapping them up later on. So if it's you, get ready to be tapped up. So I'm going to draw it to a close. So thank you very much, Darren.
No problem, sir. No problem. My pleasure.
Excellent. And thank you very much, Andy.
Oh, you're more than welcome, sir. Cool. I look forward to seeing you at a con soon, whether you like it or not.
I think it's going to be a case of sock full of coins and a potato sack.
Could I just go as a body bag?
Yes,
you could do. Elton, I get the feeling that in your future somebody's going to ask you the question: does this smell like chloroform to you? Why? Yes, it does.
Excellent.
We could do that Mad Max cosplay. We'll have Elton strapped to the front of a car.
What with the garden fork thing on his face?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Hannibal Lecter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of gardening equipment he's got on his face.
Yeah, it's like a trowel or something.
It is. Yeah, it's one of those little forks, the tiny trowel type fork things.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right. That's it. I'm going. Right. Thank you very much to everyone for listening, and I'll catch you again next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Are we kicking?
Hang on. I put the wrong link up.
Oh, great. Oh, it's not going to take me to another dodgy porn site, is it?
Not this time. No.
Oh, close program. Oh, fuck off, please. All right, fine. Go away.
All right, fine.
No.
Screw you.
Is it the bottom one? The next, which one's the new one? That's 21 or 2119, right? Okay, so it's that one.
You work in technology at work as well, don't you?
Yeah,
So much about the financial crisis.
it's fuck all about the financial crisis. That's what it says. Trust me, there is no financial crisis in this dojo. Right. Now then, what's that? You must restart your computer to apply these changes. Fuck off.
Oh, don't worry about that then.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the site. I'm not going to let this bastard fucking thing defeat me.
It tasks him. It tasks him, and he shall have it.
Ah. Anyway, we do you know what? Maybe I will leave it because
If we just hear a crash, bang, and boo, then we know exactly what's happened.
what a load of old.
So to everyone in Mixler, we will actually relay your messages to Darren exactly as you type them, we promise.
Right, it's opened up 15 fucking Mozilla windows now. Because the cunting thing is so fucking cunting slow. Cunting, cunt.
You do know Shonky Lab is a family-friendly show nowadays.
Is it?
Really?
Not really.
Dude, I was going to say, what are you doing to me? Why would you put me on a family-friendly show? Seriously. I'll have to make up some words. Oh, you blunt. Right. Okay. Look, just obviously it's not going to work. Me going to the mix. Oh no, it's actually opening up now. Well, there you go.
We have some words of advice from a few people in Mixler. Jack Woodgate suggests, hurry up, Grandad Darren. And Martin Thompson asks, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Are we actually broadcasting?
We are, yes.
I didn't think we were, so I've just dropped a sea storm. I'm basically it's not so much a sea bomb, it's a carpet bombing of seas. The connection is timed out. Well, what do you fucking know? Christ all bloody mighty.
Shall we just carry on anyway?
Yeah, let's carry on. Right, let's talk about people dressing up in weird clothes. And maybe talk about some cosplay as well.
No, this is much more fun.
Okay.
Right, okay.
We'll call it
go on.
Darren's Technology Corner.
I'm just not going to bother with the Mixler thing. So if there's anything interesting comes up, read it out to me because it just doesn't want to play ball here.
You worry me. You really do. Did you get that promotion, by the way?
Yeah, so they get the promotion.
Doom.
Own office? Pay rise?
Oh, what do you know? It fucking works.
Hey!
Stuff. I'm on.
Hey!
Hey.
And there was much rejoicing. Hey.
Okay, please log in or No, I'm not going to create a fucking account. Okay, just sort of. Hey, there we go. I'm in. I can see people chatting to me.
You don't have to type in. You can just speak, so it's fine.
I
Yes.
can.
You have dominion over these people.
Right.
But silence it though. Have you muted it?
Yes, I've muted it now because it was just like I was stuck in some sort of temporal kind of loop in time and space. It's like, didn't I just say that a second ago? I did, and that's me saying it again.
It's that wibbly wobbly timey wimey
Yeah,
stuff.
I think I'm having a stroke.
I smell toast.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, coming in. Let's get on with this.
Are you ready? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
MC McManus, go for it.